This is your boy Leon D. We're going to talk about a lot of things on this podcast, primarily food. I like to talk about food a lot, but we're going to talk about food around the world. We're going to talk about some other things that's going to touch your heart or make you mad. It really don't matter, but I'm going to tell you about it though. DJ Leon D. Peace. Let's get it on. Hello, family. You back here with DJ Leon D, and we're going to talk about some food, about the right way of doing this because I get asked this a lot. What we're going to talk about today is brisket. It's not so much cooking briskets because a lot of people can do it. They do a good job. But the question comes, should you cook your brisket fat side up? Hell no. I'm going to tell you why. You see, there are a couple benefits to cooking it fat side down and fat side up. But I'm going to tell you why I prefer one way a lot more than the other way. But I'm going to tell you some other things I don't do. And a lot of people think it's weird, crazy, whatever. Nope, it's the right thing to do. You see, I told you a long time ago, when I master something, I have never cooked something one time and mastered it. Now, I know a lot of you people think you have and think you are good at some things. But I'm here to tell you, you're not. Because no one's going to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you up front the way it works. So, let's talk about the brisket. Fat side up versus fat side down. Now, fat side up, your brisket might be a little bit moister because the fat is dripping into the meat. But when you remove the fat cap, like I do, and some of you don't, but I do. Now, those who don't are people like, you get Aaron, you get people in Texas, but they get it trimmed already the way they want it. I don't like more than a quarter inch or maybe an eighth of an inch of a fat cap. Anything more than that, I just remove it. I just cut it right off. Now, so I'm not gonna have a lot of juices running into my brisket if I do a fat side down. Fat side up. No, actually, if I do a fat side down, the juices are going to just fall into the fire or the ashes or the coals, whatever you have underneath it. But here's the thing that you got to know nowadays, especially if you're using indirect heat. What you got to know nowadays is that if you're using pellets or wood smokers and you're using indirect heat, it really is going to cook your meat evenly because it's just going to circulate over the meat. It's going to touch the top, then it's going to circle around and touch the bottom and go back around to the top again. So, and almost everybody I know use indirect heat, except for people who use gas propanes. But now, even with the pellet grills, you got deflectors that would circulate the heat evenly throughout the entire smoker, especially the more expensive ones. But if you got a cheap one, who knows what the hell's going to happen? You might set the whole neighborhood on fire. You may have a forest fire. I don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. And the manufacturer don't know what's going to happen either. But let's go back to what we was talking about. Now, if you do it fat side down, you get a better bark, a more evenly bark. Because the meat side up is going to have that nice bark. It's going to have this nice smoke ring on it. And I personally like a nice deep bark. I do that. And that's going to come from low and slow, but also with the fat side down, it's easier to get. Because you do the fat side up, what's going to happen, all that fat is going to render itself and start burning off and start dripping everywhere. But remember, your brisket is already, once you get it to a certain degree, you're going to wrap it. You're going to wrap it. So all the juices are going to stay in there anyway. And if you put it in a pan, you can use au jus. So you got everything you want to have right there. So I don't do fat side up at all. Tried it a couple times and I felt like I threw away a lot of money on something that didn't meet my taste standards because all the juices ran on the side. This before I wrapped it, I was trying to give it a smoky flavor. And I realized this is not the way to go. oh, this is not the way to go. So when you do it fat side down, you get a nice even bark. Everything is good, and you're gonna burn off some of the fat. You want to have some fat to add to the meat because fat is flavor, but you don't want that much fat because a lot of fat is just rubber. Nothing worse than taking a bite of something and it's all fat in your mouth. No, 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 no. Nobody wants to do that unless they are a fat person, because I got some fat people in my family. They eat a lot of fat. That's why they're fat people. They leave no doubt about that everything you cook, they're going to eat. Everything, every little detail. It is what it is, and nothing you can do about it. But I don't cook that way, so they don't see it at my house. But I do notice when I go to their house, there ain't nothing left on the plate. All the fat seasoning, they done mopped it up. Whatever whatever they're gonna use to eat it with, that's what they're gonna do. So let's talk about this for a minute. You want a nice even bark. You start off with the fat side down. So the meat is gonna get most of the heat because the heat underneath is gonna be deflected indirectly around the top. And so that's why you want fat side down. But also, to me, fat side down have a lot more flavor. A lot more flavor. And then once I wrap it, yeah, that's the real deal. But let me tell you something about me that a lot of people find strange. I have never flipped a brisket in my life. I don't know why you would. I have seen a million videos. I have read 1,000 things. I don't see why you would ever do it. I've never done it. And I've never seen a reason to convince me to do it. No, I don't flip my brisket. I put fat side down and I go for it. So flipping your brisket, I'm not sure what that adds, because my brisket, the bark on them is already good because I do fat side down. So I don't know rotating that brisket is gonna do for flavor. And plus, once I wrap it, when you wrap it, you don't flip it. So why flip it at all? Why flip it at all? But some people think, oh, you should flip this brisket. I'm always thinking, why? There's no medical reason or flavor reason to do that. There's no reason at all to do that. But some people think that's the way to go. And like I said, I've not seen it taste better. I've not seen it's moisture, there's more moisture or there's more moisture in it when I just do it fat side down and let it go. Because once I determine I'm gonna wrap this brisket, I know then I don't worry about moisture. If I want more moisture, I would just use a steam pan. You can't, a water pan and use the steam, because you can't get any more moisture than that than actual water. So it's one of those things that it's a mystery to me and a mystery to mankind. And some people do work that's not needed. They just gotta be opening the smoker up, looking at it every 10 minutes. They gotta just have things to do. If they got nothing to do, they go kind of crazy. And see, the whole point of having a temperature regulated smoker is so you know what temperature it is, so you ain't gotta open and check it. And some smokers, you open it, it's gonna take a long time to get back up to the temperature it was before. It's not the closest I've seen where it's almost instant heat, or the temperature rises real quick, and you can go from 175 to 225 to 230 or whatever it is a master built, gravity fed smoker. And those Traegers, Timberlines, they get back to temperature quick as hell. But they are built that way because they're well insulated. But the Traeger gets back quicker than anything I've ever seen, because if you ever go look, well, not all Traegers, I'm not gonna lie now, not all Traegers, but the higher end ones, like the Pro Series, because they're well insulated. And not only that, you can buy a jacket for them, and they really will get back to temperature real quick. But if you get the non-Pro Series, yeah, it's gonna take a minute. That's going to tell you. But you buy like a Camp Chef, it's going to take a long time to get back to temperature. I'm talking felt like weeks. You go from opening it up, it hits 170, 165, and before you know it, man, you try to get back to 250, you might be there a week or two. You're going to be there. So that is one of the things that you should not ever do is keep opening and closing your cover. There is no reason for it at all. Because most, if not all smokers, I haven't seen many that don't have a temperature gauge on the outside or something digital, but it's all regulated. It's all regulated. You may not want it to be, but it is. So what I wanted to tell you tonight was don't debate about things that don't make a lot of sense to you, especially if you already know how to cook and you know how to prep and you know how to manage your grill. Don't spend a lot of time, man. Don't burn the brain cells. Just listen to me. I'll tell you right from wrong. You can write me. You can hit me up on YouTube. But you listen to me, I'll tell you exactly where to start, where to finish, and what your mistake was. I will tell you. Because there's nothing you're going to do. Well, no, that's not true either. You can do a lot of dumb shit. Yeah. What I was going to say, there is nothing you're going to do that I have not done yet, but that is not true. Because some things, to me, are just common sense, and to a lot of people, it just don't make sense, and they do it anyway. And some people are strictly experimental. They want to try something new. But buying food and cooking meat and giving to friends, that's not a good time or a good idea to do something new. If you're going to do something new, go get a girlfriend or a new wife. That's something new. It might be old to whoever she left, but it's new to you. So my whole point is you got to go out there, man, and do the right thing. And if you're not sure about what you cooked and how you cooked it, like I told you before, don't give it to a drunk friend and have him test it out, try it out. No. I'm gonna tell you who really can tell you if something's bad or good. Your wife, your girlfriend. Women are honest. And if you piss them off, they're even more honest. You're more honest than you thought they could be. Yeah, that's how it works. So what I'm telling you, without a doubt, the best way to cook a brisket, don't flip it and cook it fat side down. And my method for cooking brisket is whatever weight I bought the brisket at, that's how many hours I cooked the brisket at 225. That's how many hours. If I buy a 16-pound brisket, no matter how much I trim the fat cap, no matter how much I trim off, and I bought some 16 to 18 pounds and trimmed off 4 pounds. Oh yeah, 4 pounds. I'm not going to build up a grease tray in my smoker that's going to fill it up and overrun, and I'm not paying attention to it, or I'm not aware. Went to a friend's house. He had an 18-pound brisket, and he was claiming he was Texas style. He didn't trim anything off. Burnt down his damn deck. He had a house fire. All that fat had to go somewhere. He had charcoal, and before I know it, the whole grill's on fire. Because it was like pouring grease on a fire. You pour grease on a fire and expect for it to go out. No. If you're going to cook the way he cooked, you need to have a water hose, not in your hand. You need to have a water hose running. I'm talking about running in your hand. Because it's not going to go good with all that fat just dripping down. The minute a fire catches fat, man, it's like a hand in a glove. It ain't letting go. It's not going to let go at all. So my whole thing to you is that you just got to be careful with what you do. You just got to be careful. But if someone asks you, tell them it's always fat side down. I like my meat to have a bark and not my fat to have a bark. if you put fat side up, there's a good chance your fat is going to have a bark and your meat will not. Your meat will be burnt because the fire will be closer to it. And at certain temperatures, 275, 300, your fire will be burnt. Your meat will be burnt. So I always do fat side down. So if I'm going to burn anything, it's going to be the fat, not the meat. That meat is the farthest thing from that fire. And if you do it low, it's really hard to start a fire with a low temperature. It's really hard. But now I know some of you out there, you can do it because I've seen you do it. I used to live near a townhouse community. I would take the drone up and I would just look. And I would just wish I had a fire hose on my drone so I can put some of the fires out. I used to fly my drone around and drop leaflets. You want to know how to cook a brisket, hot dog, hamburger, steak, whatever, call me up. But the way you're doing it right now, you're just pissing everybody off. So, my point is, now you know the right way of doing it. Now all you got to do is just go out there and do it. You know the right way. You know it's fat side down. You know all this stuff. You'll have better taste of meat. You will capture all the moisture that you can use au jus later on. And for some of you guys who like a lot of fat, do it fat side up. And just use a pan and see how much fat you're gonna have. Now you can call fat juice. That's what au jus is. Fat juice. That's all it is. And as you take your brisket and unwrap it, I even have sliced my brisket up and add the au jus later on. So every slice is equally moist. Every single slice has the exact same moisture. So whether you eat the first slice or the 100th slice, you're gonna taste the moisture in it. You're gonna be surprised. So that's one of the things that you just gotta look at real hard, because people are gonna tell you all kind of things that is just not right. They're gonna tell you not right things, and then try their food. If they cooked it that way, try their food out. You're gonna be disappointed compared to your own, but try their food out and see what you think is best or better. Try their food out. So, this is DJ Leon. Once again, I'm telling you, we're talking about brisket, fat side up or fat side down. Without a doubt, 100%, I'm always going to do fat side down because I'm not going to ruin a nice, expensive piece of meat. Not going to do that. Most of you have ruined all the meat you ever cooked in your life. You just didn't know it. But if you send me a piece, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you what you should have did and should not have done. Now, whether you want to implement my plan. See, here's the problem when it comes to cooking. No matter what you want to cook, I got a solution. The problem is, do you want to use my solution? And if you choose to use it, you are going to be a better cook. It's simple as that. You're going to be a better cook. If you choose not to use my solution, then you know what? It's not a big deal. Use yours, and then if you ever do a taste test against me, put some money up. And I don't care what your kids, what kind of palates y'all have. I don't know what kind of palates y'all got, but I guarantee you I'm going to change them for the better. I'm going to make you a better friend, a better cook, a better everything. You won't be disappointed in my food. You might be in your own, I don't know how that's going to turn out for you, but I'm going to give you a lesson on how to cook and tell you the joy of cooking. So this is DJ Leon D. This is a good video, but now you know the rules. And if you got any questions, hit me up. But peace out, DJ Leon D. Brisket, fat side up, fat side down. Fat side down wins every time in my town.